The old Carrington estate had always smelled of lavender and tobacco, a scent that clung to the wood-paneled walls like memory. Eleanor Carrington stood at the parlor window, her hand trembling slightly as she stirred sugar into her tea. Outside, the gravel crunched. Someone was arriving. She didn't need to look. It would be her eldest Thomas, always punctual, always righteous, and sure enough, his voice rose moments later in the hallway. "Mama?" "In the parlor," Eleanor called, steadying herself. Thomas entered, tall and rigid in his tailored coat, carrying the air of someone who hadn't lived here in a very long time. "You summoned us. Is everything all right?" "Sit," Eleanor said. "Your brother and sister will be here soon." Thomas flinched but obeyed. "Is this about the will?" Eleanor gave him a thin smile. "Not everything is about money, darling." He didn't respond. He hadn't since the day the letter arrived, summoning them all back to the estate under the pretense of family matters. Soon after, Lila appeared, in flowing clothes and heavy rings trailing the scent of patchouli. She hadn't spoken to Thomas in years. "Still playing the prodigal daughter?" he muttered. "At least I left," Lila said, throwing herself into a velvet armchair. "You stayed, married some cardboard cutout woman, and turned into a younger version of father." "Enough!" Eleanor snapped more sharply than intended. "Where's Caleb?" The youngest arrived last, late as always, in borrowed jeans and a worn-out hoodie. His hugs were too tight and too long, his smile too eager. He was their mother's favorite. Everyone knew it. They sat in the parlor like ghosts of their former selves. Eleanor poured more tea and finally said, "I'm dying." No one moved. "Well, aren't we all?" Lila murmured. "I have cancer, 6 months perhaps." The silence that followed wasn't surprise, it was guilt. "I'm not calling you here to beg for peace," Eleanor continued. "I know you too well for that. I called you here because there's something you must know. About your father." "He's dead," Thomas said flatly. "Yes, but he didn't die the way we told you." Lila straightened. Caleb stopped fiddling with his teacup. Eleanor inhaled deeply. "He didn't fall from the horse. He took his own life." Thomas stood, his face pale. "That's not possible." "It is," Eleanor said. "Because he found out about my affair." Lila's hand flew to her mouth. Caleb simply blinked, stunned. "He couldn't forgive me. I loved someone else, a man named Richard Hale." "Why tell us this now?" "Because," Eleanor said, "your inheritance is tied to the Hale Foundation. I left the estate to them. You will each receive a trust, but the house, the land, it's theirs now, and I want you to know why." Lila laughed bitterly. "Of course. The old house goes to the lover's name." "No," Eleanor said, "because the three of you deserve to be free. This place had twisted all of us. The legacy, the pressure, let it end with me." Silence settled again, heavier this time. Finally, Caleb spoke.